My name is Brad Ballard, and this is my video for mini paper number 1, for which I chose to write about Lowell Mason. Lowell Mason is best known for being the father of public school music. He was the first person to convince the school system to include music in its core curriculum, and he did this in the Boston area. He grew up in a small village just south of Boston, where he was musically inclined. At the age of 15, he was teaching people how to sing. At the age of 16, he was leading the town band. So that gives you an idea of how much aptitude he had at music. Despite all this, he didn't pursue a career in music. He actually moved to Savannah at age 21 and worked in retail for a little while and then became a banker. While he was doing those things, he did pursue music as a hobby. And during this time of his life, he wrote a tune book which took sacred scriptures and set them to popular European tunes. And the reason he did that was so that people would know the tune and not have to worry about learning a new tune while they were trying to figure out how to sing words. And this idea kind of followed him throughout his musical career. He established several singing schools in Boston once he moved back there. And in these schools, he would take anyone of any age level or ability and teach them how to sing. And then eventually the Boston Public Schools worked out a deal with him where he would teach music and music teachers for the purpose of teaching in Boston Public Schools. This breakthrough was the first of its kind, and it dealt a lot with his educational philosophy of music enriching life. One of the sources I used cited a letter that he had written to one of his sons as he was traveling back from a summit talking about scientific and technological innovations of his time. And Lowell Mason held music and the developments that we'd seen to be on par with those great scientific and technological innovations. He told his son that music was not something simply to be studied and to provide delight for the listeners, but was something that cultivated greatness in humanity and taught humans to be a more complete version of themselves. One of the quotes that I would like to share from Lowell Mason's letter is as follows: "The way of exercise or positive action is the only way to growth, strength, and perfection. This is true in the physical, intellectual, and moral departments. No man who desires to grow must lose his time. Every day must be employed by such a division of labor as will best promote the growth of the whole man." And he believed that music was something that did best promote the growth of the whole man. Lowell Mason used a Pestalozzian basis for his educational philosophy. His teaching was described as nature's own method of teaching. Learning should be something that students enjoyed and longed to do rather than something that was forced upon them. And so the students guided a lot of the education in Lowell Mason's philosophy. He wrote that there are 3 ways for students to learn: immediate perception of senses, the reasoning power, and faith. And later on, he added a 4th, which was learning by doing. And this learning by doing was something that came to him through teaching in these singing schools and in the public schools of Boston. And these were driving forces behind his educational philosophy, along with the idea that music was essential to creating a complete human being. When I started researching this person, Lowell Mason, I was familiar with him. I knew that he was the father of music education in public schools, but I didn't know that he and I had so much in common. We both base our educational philosophy off Pestalozzian principles. We both prefer to use a conversational method of teaching and let the students guide the learning by informing the teacher about what they don't know and what they need to know. And from what we can tell, Lowell Mason was a very engaging teacher, which I also strive to be. After reading about his life and ideas, I learned that he did have a much larger impact on my life than I'd previously thought. Thank you for watching my presentation. I look forward to seeing yours.